Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
A school day takes a terrifying turn.
We shot twice, and then everybody was running.
A student shot inside a Kentucky high school. What we've learned about the investigation.
Firefighters now say fire alarms were not working during a fire at a Richmond motel. What the city's fire chief told us about alarm inspections.
A missing realtor is found dead in Arkansas. Now a group of realtors here in southern Kentucky is learning how to protect themselves on the job.
WKYT News at 11 starts now. Good evening. Frightened students telling us they heard shots and ran for safety. Tonight we're learning more about a shooting that injured a student inside a Kentucky high school.
Police say one student shot another this afternoon at Fern Creek High School in Louisville. They now have the suspected shooter in custody, and the victim did not have life-threatening injuries. WKYT's Victor Puente talked to students who saw what happened. He has the very latest in our top story at 11.
Moments after a young man was shot at Fern Creek High School in Louisville, parents began getting alerts from their children.
She texted me that they were going on lockdown, that there was a shooter in the building.
Louisville police say the shooting happened around 1 Tuesday afternoon. They say the shooter ran from the school. The victim was taken to University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Students we spoke to said the shooter fired multiple shots and that the teen who was hit wasn't the target. They said the moments after those shots were fired, everyone panicked.
We shot twice, and then everybody was running. And then he got hit. I saw him fall on the ground. And everybody was running because I couldn't get time to look at it. I had to run away to the classroom.
He wasn't trying to shoot the one that actually got shot. He was aiming for somebody else.
While police searched for the shooter, parents began to gather outside of the school, waiting to be reunited with their children.
Saw SWAT running in with their guns drawn, bulletproof vests on.
About 3 hours after the shooting, Louisville police say they took the shooting suspect into custody. They aren't releasing the 16-year-old's name or where he was arrested. Parents say if it wasn't for their children, they wouldn't have known what was happening inside.
She was scared. Everyone was on lockdown. She didn't know where her brother was. No one was telling him anything. So it's just the fear of the unknown that was really freaking her out the most and getting her the most upset.
The school system has said they'll have classes Wednesday morning. They'll also have counselors at the school to help those who need it. In Louisville, Victor Puente, WKYT.
A Jefferson County Public Schools spokesperson said the district would be reviewing procedures to make sure the administration at Fern Creek did everything they were supposed to when the school went into lockdown.
Tonight, doctors have diagnosed the first case of the Ebola virus in the United States. The patient has been in isolation at a hospital in Dallas. Doctors say the man flew from Liberia to Texas to visit family. He arrived in this country September 20th and started feeling sick 4 or 5 days later. Doctors say he came to the hospital late last week but was sent home with non-specific symptoms. He returned Sunday in an ambulance. Health leaders are now looking for anyone who might have been in contact with this man.
Once those contacts are all identified, they are all monitored for 21 days after exposure to see if they developed fever.
CDC leaders say they are confident they can control this case of Ebola so it does not spread throughout the United States.
Tonight, firefighters tell us the fire alarms at a Richmond motel were not working when a large fire broke out. That fire damaged much of the Country Hearth Inn yesterday. No one was injured. Now firefighters say they're trying to figure out what happened to those fire alarms. WKYT's Jordan Valines talked to the Richmond fire chief tonight.
Fires can spread in a matter of seconds, and in such a short amount of time, the sound of a fire alarm can save.
In buildings that have a fire alarm system, each floor will have a pull station next to an exit that residents can activate if there is a problem.
But on Monday, when an electrical skillet caused a fire at the Country Hearth Inn, the problem became the fire alarms and the fact that they didn't work when pulled.
If it had been 3 o'clock in the morning instead of 3 o'clock in the afternoon where people were around and saw the smoke, you know, we could have had several dead residents.
The fire marshal with the Richmond Fire Department inspects every business in the city once a year. So even though this business had been inspected in the past year, at some point the fire alarms simply stopped working, which falls under the owner's responsibility. Before staying at a hotel or motel, the fire chief says there are things you can do to keep your safety in check.
You could take it on as your responsibility to say, hey, I want to know if your fire alarm is up to date and does it actually work?
Because you never know when that sound could help save your life. In Richmond, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
The fire department is working with the motel owners to ensure that the fire alarm system is brought up to code as soon as possible. The fire chief says the owners will not face any penalties for the inactive fire alarms.
Tonight, President Obama issuing a federal disaster declaration for parts of eastern Kentucky. This comes after flash flooding and mudslides damaged homes and washed out roads back in August. The president named Floyd, Knott, Johnson, and Pike counties in that declaration. Those counties are now eligible for federal money as part of recovery efforts. State leaders say the floods caused more than $6 million in damage. Looks like the warm temperatures and sunshine we've been enjoying will stick around for at least a few more days. After that, you're going to notice some big changes. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at the forecast.
Yeah, things have been awfully warm over the past couple of days. Now we're rolling toward the month of October. Clear skies across most of central and eastern Kentucky, kind of setting us up for that big change that is to come. And looking at our moon tonight on our live sky cam. Not too often we can actually catch a moon on our sky cam, but that's what it looks like right now. 44% visible, on its way toward a full moon coming up on the 8th day of October. Something else we're going to be seeing a little later on tonight, the potential for some fog. Could be locally thick at times. First thing tomorrow morning, look at what our fog forecast is suggesting. Visibilities that may be reduced in a few spots to under 1 mile tomorrow morning. Slow down, take it easy. Low beam headlights will be a must before that fog begins to burn away. Your out the door forecast with temperatures tomorrow low 50s with a hint of some fog showing up into much of central and eastern Kentucky. Live First Alert Defender is clean and it is calm, but I'm focusing on what's going on across the Plain States. That's a big fall cold front that promises big weather changes into central and eastern Kentucky by Friday. Guys, we have showers, thunderstorms, and oh, by the way, a blast of November that will follow the front. Wait until you see the hour-by-hour temperature forecast when I come back in just a few minutes.
New details have been released tonight about the kidnapping and murder of an Arkansas real estate agent.
Police found 49-year-old Beverly Carter's body in a shallow grave early this morning, 5 days after she had been reported missing. They now say Aaron Lewis set up an appointment with Carter to view a home, but they were otherwise strangers. They say he then kidnapped and killed her. This afternoon, Lewis pled not guilty to murder, kidnapping, and robbery. Tonight, realtors in Somerset held a vigil for Carter, but they also talked about ways to protect themselves on the job. WKYT's Garrett Weimer has the story new at 11.
With a prayer,
I just want to have a moment of silence
and a minute of reflection.
She's one of us, and this could happen to any of us.
These realtors recognize the danger they could face.
You're meeting someone you don't know. You're meeting them in a vacant home where nobody's at.
During this prayer vigil, they're also making sure they all know how to stay safe on the job.
We get a call and we randomly go out and we just show up, and you don't know who the person is on the other end. So putting some safety measures in place to protect us and to protect our agents when we go out there is key.
Agents tell me that includes letting people know where you're going, always leaving yourself a way out, also carrying pepper spray or even a gun. I also talked to realtors in Lexington about this very topic. One female realtor told me she's been considering getting her concealed carry permit for years, and this is just another reminder that you can never be too careful on the job. That's something these Pulaski County realtors realize as well.
We've known it as realtors for years that something like this could essentially happen, but it hasn't happened to our community, thank God.
Now, starting with tonight's vigil, they're taking even more steps to make sure it doesn't. In Pulaski County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
The Somerset Lake Cumberland Association of Realtors says it plans on hosting a concealed carry class in October for its member realtors who are interested in carrying a gun.
The Fayette County attorney tells us disorderly conduct charges will likely be filed for a BB and pellet gun scare on the UK campus. At last check, no charges had been filed yet in court. 4 UK football players, Dorian Baker, Drew Barker, Tamir DeBose, and Stanley Williams, have been suspended for Saturday's game because of the incident. On Sunday, police say shots were fired from a pellet gun and 2 BB guns on campus. Former Lexington police detective Don Evans tells us the context in which the weapons were used determines how serious the charges are.
A BB gun can cause serious physical injury, so that's one aspect of it. Was it used in a manner that could endanger somebody, put their eye out, or cause them serious physical injury, permanent injury? The other thing is it used to make people believe it's a real gun? It was used in a threatening manner.
UK football coach Mark Stoops talked about the suspended players tonight, and Rob will have his comments a little later in sports.
We have an update tonight on construction of a Noah's Ark theme park in northern Kentucky. Officials with the Ark Encounter Park posted this new aerial video of the site on Facebook. You can see the land for the park in Grant County has already been cleared. The park will feature a replica of Noah's Ark. Construction began this summer. That park is expected to open in 2016.
She ended up being shot while sitting on her front porch. A Lexington woman telling us she didn't even realize what happened at first.
Also coming up here at 11, more questions than answers tonight at a Louisville park after someone found a child dead. A woman caught in the crossfire of a shooting while sitting on her front porch has returned home.
We found Marilyn Graves back on that same front porch this afternoon after she was released from the hospital yesterday. Now, Lexington police say that 2 people in 2 vehicles near her home at 5th and Ohio Streets fired shots at each other.
We were sitting on the porch and pow, pow, pow. We just thought it was fireworks. We didn't know.
One of the bullets hit Graves in the leg, and she was taken to the hospital. Doctors say the bullet stopped just underneath her skin, but they did not need surgery to remove it. Police have not made any arrests for the shooting.
A disturbing discovery in a Louisville park today. Police say someone found a boy's body. They say that body was found in a wooded area off a path in Cherokee Park. Police think the boy was between 11 and 13 years old. So far, he has not been identified. Investigators also are not sure what caused the boy's death, but the Louisville Police Homicide Unit is investigating.
A man has died 10 days after his motorcycle crashed in Wayne County. The Fayette County coroner says 47-year-old Brooke Dennis of Monticello died this afternoon at UK Hospital. On September 20th, investigators say Dennis's motorcycle crashed on Highway 92 West. The coroner says Dennis died of blunt force head and neck trauma.
A homeless Vietnam veteran will receive a proper burial tomorrow. Friends of Charles Eck, including employees of the Winchester Peddlers Mall, had been raising money for his funeral since he died a few weeks ago. We're told Eck will be buried tomorrow at Camp Nelson Cemetery in Jessamine County with full military honors. Tonight, Richmond voters heard from the 2 candidates running for mayor. Incumbent Mayor Jim Barnes and challenger Laura Durham King took part in a forum at the EKU Center for the Arts. Among the issues that came up, the closure of a fire station in the Richmond Industrial Park.
Are you going to be able to attract any type of industry to our community without a fire station? And the answer is absolutely no. I don't know anybody who's going to go out and spend $60 or $70 million in an area that's not covered with fire protection.
Our thought was, we go 4 stations, now we have 5 per shift. Everybody can take a vacation. We don't have to worry about overtime and paying people to have to come in on extra hours, and it's working perfect. And I have talked to the fire chief, and he is very pleased.
The Richmond City Commission candidates were also at tonight's forum. WKYT's own Bill Bryant was the moderator.
If you head over to Hamburg Pavilion in the next month, you'll notice some changes to the streets there. Our news partners at the Herald Leader report every street in Hamburg will be repaved, sealed, and in some cases even rebuilt. Crews say that much of the work will be done at night when the stores and restaurants are closed. The project is expected to last through much of October.